All right, all right.
Here they come.
Alex. Hi, Ashley. Oh, Ashley is muted, but we did get your emails of questions, so that's awesome. William Neverman, how is it down in Southern California?
Good. How about you?
Doing good. You're looking good. How's your
Thanks, man.
How's your wife and family? Everybody good?
Yeah, everybody's really good. So really, really lucky and blessed for sure.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, anybody who's healthy right now, that's a good thing, right?
Yeah, definitely. You're right. I invited a couple of buddies to join, so hopefully we've got a couple more on here in a second.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Hi, Daniel.
Glad you're with us.
Mr. Daniel Khan, welcome.
What's up, Scott? Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Awesome.
How are things coming?
Going good. Hey, I never got to thank you, Scott, for all that their help, man, to making sure my stuff got closed. I know I was hounding you every day trying to on that phone, man. I'm so sorry.
No, my pleasure, believe me. All my borrowers should be like you.
Greg's chiming in from Maui. Welcome, Greg. Justin from
Greg, when are you going to turn your camera on so we can see your handsome face?
As soon as I get in my car.
He's getting back in the Porsche, driving around the island.
What are you driving this week, a Bentley?
That's awesome. Greg, I wanna chat with you about the fact that you got a mobile home to Maui. Is that what I read on the post?
Yeah, it's a prefab.
Right.
I mean, it's not. I don't know. I don't really know like what technically qualifies it as a mobile home, but you know, it's mobile. We shipped it here from California, and yeah, I mean, it's basically a double wide.
Yeah. No, that's a remarkable. What zoning did you put it in? Is it a single family residential zoning or?
Yeah, it's residential. The land that we bought is zoned ag, so
oh, gotcha.
We're an ag lot. But yeah, it's residential single family.
Nice. That's brilliant. We should partner together and think about doing an entire prefab home development. Hawaii needs it.
Who is? Oh, FabMac is doing that on Maui.
Are they? Huh. Well,
which one are you talking about?
Let's beat them at that game.
Well, they have a couple, like, actually, okay, so I know there's one like in Waikapu where they have this new affordable or workforce housing development, and they built like maybe 90 homes, and I think they built like 10 of them are prefabricated. You know, they're basically the same manufacturer that made ours, and they kind of make that as a more affordable option.
We should definitely chat more, man. It's super fascinating stuff. Good stuff. Welcome to Jason Kim, Cassie Chan, Isaac Tawa Effa, welcome. Howard Wong, welcome.
Hey, Cassie.
Hi, Greg.
I think that's all you're getting, Greg, is a hi, Greg. That's it. Ashley Wasson, welcome. Hey, James Tanaka. How's it, brother?
How are you?
Good. Oh, you and your beach background.
Yeah.
You gotta change them. This week you gotta go like Snow Mountain or something.
Next week.
Hey, Micah from Maui. How's it?
How's it going, Kekoa?
Good. How's it?
Hey, Micah is actually on our team with Brandon.
Yeah, we know Micah well.
Oh, okay, good.
Yeah, we're gonna do some black market deals with Brada Micah, so we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, hopefully.
It's awesome. Hey, Caroline, welcome. Sweet. All kinds of fun. Everybody have a good week. Everybody brought something to drink this week. We got to do like a happy hour kind of thing, and everybody got to bring something that you're excited about drinking. legally.
So organic juicy juice, apple juice.
Juicy.
Alex, what are you drinking?
I'm going to get a big water jug right now.
No, I'm looking at the other Alex, not Alexander.
I just want to say, give a shout out to Lily and Carolyn. And thank you guys for inviting me on last night to speak to the HIRE group, the Hawaii real estate investors. Thank you guys.
You did a great job.
Oh, thank you. You guys are the best.
As always.
That's awesome. Hey, Will Morris, how are you?
Doing good. How are you?
Doing good. It's a bright looking sweatshirt. We like it.
Thank you. I'm from Tennessee. That helps.
Gotcha. Are you in Tennessee right now?
Yeah.
Nice. How's everything out there? You guys still on lockdown?
No, we're actually opened back up. I believe we're opened up all the way.
Wow.
So I think we're back up. Of course, I've never slowed down. I mean, I don't think anybody that does Zooms not slowed down.
Right. What area of the real estate industry are you in?
A little bit of everything, I guess. I mean, I've done originated from multifamily. I've transitioned here lately. Well, I guess within the past 9 to 6 months, multifamily to me kind of got expensive, and so I started transitioning into alternative investments, and now I'm into oil and gas, and I got sports entertainment complex that we're looking at. What else have I got? Businesses, picking up businesses, cash producing businesses, I guess. So it's a little bit of everything.
Yeah, you're diversified, man. That's awesome. Well, glad that you're joining us all the way out in Tennessee.
Thank you. I appreciate the opportunity to sit in.
Yeah.
Cool.
And we'll definitely chat. Anytime you get a chance to hear something that you can lend some expertise to, we'd love to have you share.
Cool. Thank you.
That'd be good. Right on. Craig Martin, welcome. Matthew. Welcome.
Gio, welcome, Gio.
Hey, how's it going, Scott?
Good. And yourself, buddy?
I'm good. Doing well.
Good.
Right on. Well, we are glad that you are all here. We're just giving it kind of a minute more, and then we'll get started. Anybody from outside of the country joining us today? Are we mostly in country? And then how about, so we got Tennessee. I see Tom Porter, so he's Midwest. We've got East Coast on the line. We got Florida. Isaac's Texas. Hey, Isaac, how's Texas today?
It's pretty good. Everything's kind of opening back up right now, so
nice
about that. Yeah, things are opening up. Restaurants are like 25% capacity, and like movie theaters are at a certain capacity, so things are opening up slowly. But I think salons and stuff open today. So
which is good news, because everybody was starting to look pretty scary.
Yeah, I can get my herded now. So
that's awesome. Isaac,
yeah.
you're in escrow, right? Escrow title.
Yeah, title and escrow, right?
Awesome, nice. What company are you with?
I'm with MBL Title. Actually, my boss hopped on here, Matthew Lopez. He's my good friend and my boss, my jiu-jitsu training partner. So,
wow, all in one. So
yeah, all in one.
So if your boss pisses you off, you go, dude, let's go do some bowling.
We get even on the mat, yeah.
Let's roll around.
That's why I always like to clarify. I'm Matthew, who he's calling his boss, and I always say colleague Isaac. Plus, you got about 100 pounds on me.
Yeah, I do easily.
No, but Isaac's lost a lot of weight. He's looking good.
Yeah, true. He is. He's lean and mean Corona bod, Isaac.
Yeah, that's right.
Well, he's got the lean and mean Corona bod. The rest of us, we added 19 pounds.
Nice. Yeah, of muscle, Kekoa.
Yeah. Totally. Muscle fueled by mint chocolate chip ice cream, banana bread, and whatever Lucky Charm cereal the kids are eating. It's like it's beautiful.
Awesome, dude.
Well, sweet. Welcome, everybody. We're glad that you're with us. We're going to get started. Appreciate you all joining us each week. Again, for those of you who are joining us for the first time, just a special welcome. Cory and I have been business partners for a while now. We've done quite a few flips. We also have a real estate brokerage firm. We have a construction company. We have a hard money lending company and a property management company. That's all to try to impress you. That's all to just simply say we have a whole lot of stress and we have no idea what we're doing. And so we really created this call to learn from one another. And especially during this time of the pandemic, it's a great opportunity to spend some time together and get to see what else is happening in the country. Again, this call is designed that we can all learn from each other. So we would really hope and would love it if everybody just chimes in and participates. Not only just chiming in verbally and orally, but also on the chat. So on the side is the chat. So when there's a question that comes on the chat, please jump in. If you know the answer or you got a perspective from your area of the country, please help out. And if somebody's got a question that you want to ask to the group, then throw it out there, and then we can definitely just make this a really useful time for everybody. Quite a few questions came in this week, so Justin's going to be posting some questions along the way. For folks that are just kind of wrestling through different things. And so if you see those questions in the chat, feel free to jump in and respond as well. And then what we're trying to do each week is just really try to make it relevant. And I think we got a lot of feedback that folks really love to hear kind of what we've got going on in terms of our victories, but mostly our pains and our challenges. So we'll just share a little bit about some of the deals that we do along the way, but really that's supposed to set the stage for all of us to jump in and share from your experiences as well. We're again grateful to have you on, and we're going to start off just a little bit different this week. We're going to mix it up, and we're going to start. Last week we ended and we kind of didn't have a lot of time, but I want to make sure that everybody knows that at some point in this conversation, we have a section called Gets and Gots. So if you have something you need to get, or you've got something that you need to send out or sell or place, just let us know, or jump in the chat and just drop it in the chat. And then if we see it, we can always chat about it later. But so again, if you need something, you're looking for hard money, you're looking for a private money lender, you're looking for an insurance company, you're trying to find someone who can do E&O insurance, you're trying to figure out how to apply for an SBA loan or something like that, just throw it in the chat and see if somebody's got something for you. Or if you have something that you want to place a deal or some resource, then please let us know as well in the chat. We'd love to have you drop it in there. But Cory, you want any opening words from you?
No, yeah, I think you covered like all of it. Guys, we started a Facebook group. So Justin is kind of managing that. And Justin, you want to talk real briefly about it?
Yeah, of course. So basically, this is just going to be a place where kind of like this, where everyone can join, and it's just going to be an open floor where you guys can ask questions, share resources, ideas, strategies, all that type of stuff. And it's just going to be a nice, positive place where the KÉCŌ family is going to be. And we're looking forward to just, creating a platform outside of, here where it can be 24/7, where you guys can read, get insight, and just, So we started that today, and as soon as this is all done, all of you guys are going to get an email, and I'm going to attach the link as well as the invite and everything so forth.
Yeah. So basically, thank you, Justin, for setting that up. And basically, it's just a platform so that we can continue the conversation, after these calls, and continue linking each other up with resources and helping each other, doing deals with each other. That's kind of our vision, is that this isn't just a once a week call and then, we talk about certain things and not everybody has a voice, and we want to keep it really engaging, and everyone who's part of the group, is not afraid to ask questions, and they're not going to be judged about anything that they need, right? So we're here to help each other. So the culture is very important to us, just because that's how Kekoa and I and Alex and Scott and Tyler and Justin and our whole team, that's how we operate. We like to do business with people who are like-minded. And so the door is open to the public, right? So anybody can can come in. But we do want to make sure that we keep a sense of abundance amongst the group and sharing and offering our knowledge and support and resources. And then obviously that will lead to doing good business together, and everybody, we rise to the top together, right? So I think with that said, we have our guy Fuzzy. His name is Jardine Ohana on his screen. So he is actually on one of the job sites that we purchased at the end of last year. Like I think literally December 31st, we bought this property. And I thought it would be cool to just, since him and Layla are out on site today, we'll be talking about, we can do a brief rundown of this deal, because I think we're about maybe 30 to 45 days possibly to get to market. Some of our investors are on the line and they're invested on this deal too. So, we could get it all done in one time, get a quick update on the project. But
Cory, start off by, this one's super interesting. So again, we're starting off with one of our deals just so that way everybody gets a chance to hear kind of what we're doing, but then really to set a context so questions can be asked. So let's just talk about acquisitions. This one was super interesting because this is a multiple house development out in Makaha, which for those of you on the mainland, that's like the far west of the island. And we picked this one up, but it was kind of an interesting story of how we found this one. Do you want to just share how we heard about this one and what it took to try to connect the dots on it?
Yeah, sure. So this project came to us. I got a call from the lender on the deal because the investor who owned this property kind of went upside down and ended up kind of leaving the projects high and dry. And so he was stuck in his money was stuck in the project, and he didn't want to, before going through the foreclosure process and taking the property back, since he was actually in Southern California, he lives in Southern California, he'd rather somebody buy it, right? And since he didn't have control over the property yet, because he didn't foreclose and he didn't want to have to go through that foreclosure process, he ended up calling me to see if I would buy it. And originally I was, Kekoa and I were a little concerned about taking on a project like this, just because there's a lot of hidden potential hidden issues. And Fuzzy can explain a little more too, because sure enough there was some hidden issues that we didn't catch, even though we did the best due diligence that we could. So we ended up deciding to buy the property. Obviously it had to be at the right price, right? So we bought this property for $840,000. It came with 4 homes on it, which was mid-construction. So the previous investor basically built the houses all the way up to, I think, framing. They didn't have siding on yet, I don't think. But we had to come in and basically do rough electric, rough plumbing, siding, and then also kind of re-scrub the land. So let me share my screen real quick. I'll show you guys some pictures.
So there was siding, by the way.
Okay.
Siding, windows, but no doors.
Cory, you said you bought it for $840. Was that right?
840,000, correct. So these pictures are kind of small. I don't know.
There was rough plumbing, or there were stub-outs for rough plumbing, but not rough electrical.
Gotcha. So this is Layla, everybody. Layla runs our project. She's also our behind-the-scenes bookkeeper, and she is the best at getting coffee when we all need it. So
Our monster.
I have never gotten coffee from Layla. So I don't know what you're talking about, bro.
Never, not my forte.
Layla is awesome. So, so Layla, just kind of as Cory's pulling up those photos, so you're saying that the project, we had some things set up.
There was stub out for rough plumbing, but not any, sorry, big dust cloud. but not any, you know, piping in the walls, just coming out of the foundation.
Oh, okay.
No tie-ins for the sewer. No electrical.
Yeah.
Sheeting on a couple of the roofs, but no roof.
And that was basically it. And total of how many houses?
4.
4. And then estimate of rehab cost per home?
About 140 a house.
140 a house.
560,000.
Yeah.
And we will. I was just talking to Ashley last night, going over comps, and we're looking to sell. Originally, our ARV was $499 per house, so about $1,996,000. But I'm at this point, I'm a little cautious about the market that we may be heading in, so we may come in lower, around 475, which obviously is not ideal because that's $100,000 off our net profit right off the bat. So that decision hasn't been made yet, but you know, that's up for discussion, and we're gonna that's something that you and I are gonna have to talk about, Kekoa and the whole team. So because do we, you know, try to sell fast and price under, or, you know, do we go for what we feel these houses are truly worth, right? So
Yeah.
that's a decision we're gonna have to make. Can you guys see my screen, or is it sharing? Is it sharing?
Yep.
Yeah, it's sharing. Yeah.
Okay, so
Hey, Cory, let's pause there because that's kind of an interesting topic that maybe we could get some others to feedback on. Is that's always one of the biggest dilemmas for rehabbers and flippers, is that, you know, you're trying to watch the ARV, but at the same time you go into a deal with a set scope of work and what you hope to get done. But when the ARV starts to dial in a little bit more and it's not looking as high as it was, the challenge is, man, do you reduce the scope? Do you just hope that the ARV will go up? Or, you know, what is it that you can do to try to think through that process? I mean, I know what we did, but anybody else that's a flipper on the line that would want to chime in and say, hey, this is what you do when that situation arises in your experience? Nobody wants to talk today?
Everybody's shamed.
I can, Kekoa, if you can hear me.
Hey, Eric.
Hey, so I'm not a flipper full time, and I've only ever really flipped one, and maybe that's probably why I had some numbers that weren't right. But what happened in my situation is I just kept it. The numbers were not looking great. I ended up putting a lot of my own labor in for free in order to make it work. And then, you know, we were looking at it and looking at it. It was in our farm area, and we said, why would we sell this to someone else? And so we then finished the flip with the idea of just hanging on to it. So, you know, that's where the whole multiple exit strategies can really come in.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. It's nice to know that sometimes that option is available if you can hold on to it. So then you probably didn't use hard money to acquire it then, or did you? And then you had to go do a takeout loan for long-term hold?
Yeah, no, we didn't use hard money. That at the time, that was my criteria, is that it had to be mortgageable. And we, of course, explored the limits of what that meant. So we picked up some properties that the mortgage company may have passed off an appraisal, but like the insurance company didn't pass off when they did their inspection. So, you know, so what? I mean, we had to do a roof and whatnot to make them happy, but we were doing that anyway.
Yeah. Okay, that's cool. That's cool. That's interesting. Anybody else have anything that you've done when the ARV is less than what you initially targeted when you first were looking at the property? If not, we can move on a little bit. I know for Cory and I, oftentimes what happens for us is, we try to be real conservative on the front end, especially right now in this pandemic. We're looking at a lot of different properties for ourselves as well as some of our clients, and we're being real conservative on ARV right now. And so where we were looking before at acquiring at 65 to 70% of ARV, we're really, like just earlier today, I was texting our team and just saying, hey, let's just start finding things that are 50 to 60% of ARV. Because then if the market does soften here at the end of the year and say drops 10%, then we're actually already a little bit insulated in case that happens. Worst case is if the market does great and it stays strong, well, we still bought at a great price. And so we're trying to be a little more careful, but Cory and I would be lying if we told you that we haven't had situations where we went in and unfortunately the value was not what we wanted to be. And I think the key there is always trying to find out as soon as possible when that ARV is needs to be corrected. And if it's down, it's starting to make those decisions with scope early, because oftentimes you don't pick up much momentum later to have ARV go up. And so then you sell at a loss, and that's always painful. But
well, you know what? Since we are about transparency and abundancy, we can't show our numbers on this deal. This is a live deal, so we are very always cautious about showing this type of information, but we can go over the spreadsheet and we'll plug in the numbers and we'll see live like exactly what it might look at, like what we're looking at, right? So anyways, I don't know if my screen is sharing, but this is what we bought it.
We see pictures of the house.
Yeah, so this is the condition we bought it in, right? So it was basically 4 shells. That's Brother Keone. I don't know if he's on the line right now with his umbrella. He's smart. In Makaha, out in that side, it's very hot and dry and gets a lot of sun. So he's from the west side, so he's the only one that brought the umbrella. There's Daniel. Okay, so real quick, this is the fence that Fuzzy put in. Actually, you know what? Why don't we, this is after Fuzzy and the guys came in and scraped everything, So, okay, I'll bring up our numbers real quick. This is our spreadsheet that we use to analyze our deals. So we bought the property for $840,000, paid 2 points, got 90 and 100. So we were able to leverage this deal kind of like a rehab deal, because if you're doing a ground up construction loan, you're not going to get this type of leverage and rates. But fortunately, through our connections, our own fund ended up closing this deal. So our capital partners, I had to do some back and forth with the president to just basically ask them if we can treat this as a rehab project instead of a development project. But we will be going to market with 4 brand new construction homes. There's our closing fees, acquisition fees to ourselves on the front that we cut ourselves. So here's our budget, right? 140 per house. So that's 560,000 cost. We had initially a holding time of 6 to 8 months. We're right around the 5th month. So we're leaning more towards 8 months. So we can see how this changes, right? The holding time. So this is our net profit at 6 months and then at 8 months. Okay. Now this is with a $499 sale per house. So if we do, 475 per house, then we're at 1.9. So we lose about 100 grand off the net profit, right?
So Cory's doing if you didn't mention it too clearly, we have 2 columns because of a scenario A and B. So that gives us a chance to kind of decide between, as we're analyzing a deal, we'll up at the top, we'll sometimes say if we bought it at this price or this price, what would that look like? And then sometimes we do a scenario A type of renovation. So if we bought it, say this number, then maybe we're paying more than we want. So maybe we'll do a little less on the renovation. So then in column A, we'll just play with those numbers. And on the right side, we'll do another scenario. So just like Cory just did, is it gives us a chance to be real flexible. You want to do 3 or 4 different scenarios, you can add more columns, but like Cory just changed the anticipated ARV, which then changes everything on the sales cost, and it helps us to take a look at the profit and loss at the bottom. So that's what those 2 columns are. Sorry, Rob, go ahead.
Yeah, so basically this spreadsheet, it all is formed to show us what our 2 most important metrics are when we're looking at a deal, right? And that is the net profit and our return on investment. Okay, and if you were on last week's call when we went over our deal that we flipped on the lake in Hawaii, we talked about return on investment and how we base our ROI on the amount of private funds or gap funding that we tie up, right? So in this deal, we had to raise, we ended up raising 325. So that was to fill everything, right? So that covers the 10% down payment here. It covers the closing costs on the front, including our acquisition fee paid to ourselves at closing. And then our interest reserve that is needed, and our miscellaneous holding costs and the amounts to start the construction, right? Because we get funded 100% of our budget, but it is paid in arrears. So we have to come up with the first tranche to start the construction, right? So if you look at the formula here, it's E60 divided by 8. So basically we were planning on doing 8 draws on our budget of 560,000, which tells us we need to raise at least 70,000, right? If we wanted to do 10 draws and raise less money, we'd put 10 and then we raise, 56,000. I hope that makes sense. So the total raise was 325 in gap funding, private money. And then we got the hard money loan through our own fund backed by our capital partners in New York. And so we closed this deal, and Fuzzy guys are moving fast. Ashley and her team, shout out to Matt and Greg and Jasmine, if you guys are on the line. They're preparing for us to go to market, I think in a couple weeks or so, or a week or a couple weeks, we're going to try to pre-sell some of the at least one of the houses. And
hey, Brada, can I pause you for a second? Because I think there's probably some questions. The spreadsheet's pretty cool. You've done a good job sharing it, but just pause for a second in case anybody's got any questions for Cory or myself. We use this spreadsheet just religiously on every deal that we assess. We're always grabbing the spreadsheet. And in fact, whether it's a deal in Las Vegas, which fortunately, I don't know, Cory, if you heard, but we're on market, bro. Woohoo, Vegas. Yeah, so we're excited. But whether we're in Vegas, Seattle, wherever we're evaluating a market, we always pull this spreadsheet out. So it's really helpful. So any questions about the spreadsheet? And then we'll send you guys a copy. Cory and I we want to share everything we have to just create that sense of like community, and all of us are in this together. So you're welcome to share it. If you end up selling the spreadsheet and make money, if you can give us a small part of that, that'd be awesome. That would help our beach fund. But if anybody has any questions, just chime in or throw it in the chat, and we'll just pause here for a second.
Yeah, and then also, since Fuzzy's on site with Layla is actually out there right now because we're right at a point where we're going to be filing for our next construction draw. So she's making sure that all the line items have been completed that we're going to be drawing for are completed, and what is upon the horizon, and what can we draw for to our hard money lender, right, which is basically our fund. So while you guys are gathering questions and stuff, I don't know if we want to hand that to them. What do you want to do, bro?
Well, let's just see. There may not be a ton of questions, but anybody got any questions on that spreadsheet? Brock, can you throw them up for just 2 more seconds?
Oh, okay.
Oh yeah, this is Matthew in Texas. I guess I have one on your kind of $325,000 raise of what you're calling the bridge capital. I was just curious. I think one scenario, I can't see it right now, was like, a net profit of 192 and then an ROI to the investors of like 60%. I was just curious what your waterfall looked like to get there, right? Like in other words, what you had to pay the people that funded the 325 in private money. And then kind of as a corollary, I was curious about the acquisition fee and like what that went towards, what the lender allowed you to do with that, because that kind of caught my eye. That's a very, I think I heard someone say they kind of negotiated with the president, but that's like a very valuable term, right? To have that kind of cash flow that you can fund up front, and there might be flexibility. So I was just curious on those 2 points, if you could chime in.
Yeah, so that's a great question, Matthew. And Matthew used the term waterfall, right? Which can be used basically, how does distributions get paid out in what order? And in this case, all of the lenders always get paid first if they're debt lenders, right, and not equity partners for us. In this case, they're getting paid at closing their principal plus interest, right? Since they're debt lenders, they're not equity investors. It's not like a true syndication. But so in this sense, we call it private money, our PML, our private money lender. So they're getting paid 12% annual on their principal. So we're paying 12% interest on the 325,000. At closing, they get distributed their principal that they invested and their interest. Most of our lenders, we pay them on the back end with a balloon payment plus their interest. Sometimes we will pay monthly interest, and then in that case, when we close out a deal, they get paid just their principal back and whatever prorated interest amount that they're owed from when we went from their last interest payment to closing, right? What was your second question?
Well, it was just about the acquisition fee at the top, I think, which was 45,000, but just where that went and what the lender allowed you to use it for.
Right. So the acquisition fee went to our team. So we pay ourselves on the front. That is brought in through the raise. So, and most of the times our lenders know how we do business anyways. So as long as it doesn't affect your net profit at the end of the deal, then you should be okay. Right. But you have to think that whatever acquisition fee you're taking up front, you have to put that in your raise, right? And then at the same time, you're paying interest on that money. So and one thing I learned from my CPA, she said, don't call it an acquisition fee, call it an advance, basically, because it is an advance. It's an advance of profits. And if it's an advance of the profits, you don't have to pay self-employment tax on it. It's just capital gains, right? So if you call it a fee up front, you have to pay capital gains and self-employment tax. So, which is like for us is like another 15% or something. So I learned my lesson on that.
There are times, Cory, that you and I, for the benefit of others, is sometimes if a bird dog or a wholesaler or somebody on our team brings us a deal, we'll also give them part of that acquisition fee. So not always 100% of that number in that column for us, just an advance, but it truly is sometimes an acquisition fee or a finder's fee, if you will. And so a lot of investors have that. In fact, probably a lot of investors here on this call will have something like that if somebody brings you a deal. I know Cory and I do that. So when somebody brings us a deal and it checks out and we close on it, we give up to $10,000 as a finder's fee. So pretty good deal. In fact, Ashley Chandler, I think, was on this call. I don't know if she's on here today, but she got $10,000 from us for a deal that she brought to us. So that was cool. But yeah, anyways, go ahead.
It's very common in the the multi-family space that, the lead sponsor or the syndicator will charge an acquisition fee of, 1 to 3% of the raise. So in house flipping, there's no cash flow, right? So most people, you don't have to pay yourselves a little bit on the front, but why not? I'd rather celebrate at closing every time, so as long as it doesn't affect the deal, then you should be fine, right? And if you start to lose money, all that money's going right back to the deal to pay off debt anyways. So that's up to you. And some deals we don't put acquisition fees on there to ourselves. If there's a wholesaler or something involved and that chunk goes to them, then that's what we do. So
that's a great question.
That was a great question. Yeah. Thanks, Matthew.
Thanks, Matthew. Anybody else got a question? Oh yeah. Was that a good response?
It was great. Thank y'all. That was perfect.
Perfect. Wow. That's very nice. Good job, bro.
Times I'm perfect, bro.
Yeah, not too often is Cory perfect. Like he's pretty on, but not perfect. But that's nice.
Don't give me direction.
The infamous perfect call.
Perfect. Perfect. Right on. Anybody else got any spreadsheet type questions? And we can make this available. And of course,
Kekoa, somebody had a question they sent in. They wanted to know if you always do a complete renovation and they're making sure that the entire house looks good, or just the main things like the kitchen and bath. If they look like some of the houses that they've looked at luxury kitchens and bathrooms, and the rest of the house makes it look like they're just throwing something together. How do you know what's enough on the reno?
That's good. I think Layla helps with that quite a bit these days as well, but we always take a look at ARV. That's where that spreadsheet comes in that Cory just shared. We take a look at what we purchase it at, and then we do a couple scenarios on the renovations. We're always looking at the best renovations we can afford to still get a decent return. So sometimes, you want to go in and all the cool photos on Instagram and Facebook all have these massively gorgeous renovations, but not always is that financially feasible. So I think for Cory and I, he and I tend to argue over finishes and design quite a bit. He's more conservative and wants to just keep things as is. And so I'll try to push the other end. So somewhere in the middle is where we meet. And we always keep in mind what we hope to sell it for. And then we back into what we have left to really do as a scope of work. So that's a great question. And that's where that spreadsheet really helps us out. So if you look at that spreadsheet, we really detail out everything such as plumbing, electrical, kitchen cabinets, bathrooms. And sometimes, you can't really redo a whole bathroom. So you just repaint the fiberglass tub and make it look great. And then you get a new toilet seat. And sometimes you just kind of redo the quartz countertops on the bathroom vanity, just to try to save money. But that's a great question. Anything else? Oh, go ahead.
Oh, sorry. I think the fundamentals to just remember is like, we're not trying to be, if you're renovating a house, you're not trying to be perfect, because you'll be chasing it forever, until you're upside down on the project. So we're not trying to sell perfect houses. We make sure that the property or the product that you're offering the market is structurally safe. The house is safe, and then you go to the design and the finishes to make sure that when you're done and you're selling this thing, that you're proud, to stand in front of it and you offer it to a new family or someone who's going to put up a lot of money to buy it. So you want to do all you can to provide the market and your community, a nice house. But with that said, you're not going to be nitpicking every little bit so that you're selling something that's perfect, because there's no such thing. You'll be chasing it forever, right? And as investors, we have to know when to draw the line, right? And when we are becoming too emotionally involved in the house that we're not going to live in, right? So, and we have to do that not just for our bottom line, but to protect our investors as well, right? Because if we're negligent and we're too stubborn to decide when, to stop, then it starts to put everybody at risk, right? So if you're leading the project, then there's a lot of people counting on you, right? Including your construction guys that are out there, kicking butt, and your investors, right?
Yeah,
Cool.
Cory, one more question that we always have asked us: how long is it going to take to get a permit from the DPP? They want to know, knowing it's so slow in our state.
Yeah.
Is that something? How much time you give yourselves to get that?
Well, in
Hawaii
Hawaii,
these days.
unfortunately, it's it does take a long time, and it is who you know, unfortunately. And I'll just say this: in this group, we have resources. So if anybody gets stuck in Honolulu, then reach out to us. And I got my 911 call, Mr. Fuzzy over there. Whenever I get in trouble, whenever I need help with the city, call that guy.
But that's actually a really good question for everybody who's outside of Hawaii and you're trying to look at a deal and you're thinking through how long is permits going to take. There's always that decision point between, do I do permits or do I not do permits? And you'll get 6 investors on one side of the equation and 6 on the other side trying to argue which one's smarter. The challenge with not doing permits is when you get red tagged, it's very painful because you get stopped and completely slows everything down. And then sometimes it's worse to have a house partly done, sitting empty, because then things deteriorate. Because when they stop work, they don't care if you have no windows or a roof on the house. It's stop work. They won't let you touch the project. I know this for a fact. Integris Real Estate is flipping a property down in Bonnie Lake right now. And we went in without permits because we started with good intentions. It was supposed to be purely an interior cosmetic rehab. But like true to form real estate, you get in and there's always a surprise. What happened for us was that we decided that we need to do a couple extra things. And those couple extra things alerted the Department of Planning. They came out, red tagged us, and we have been stalled for, I think, 3 months at this point. And because they came out, they're not much more brutal. And so now we're being asked to do a whole lot of other things, like actually put a fire sprinkler system in the entire house. It's only 2,500 square feet, so it's kind of crazy, but they got to make a point. So my point is get to know your DPP in your city, really evaluate whether it's worth taking the risk of not doing a permit. But if you think that you're going to do anything that requires a permit, then it's very strategic to go ahead and get that. But what you can do is get started on the things that don't require a permit, so that way you're safe, and then have the permit continue in the application process while you're doing the things that you're allowed to do without a permit. And some of the different cities have different requirements. Some of our cities up here in Washington allow us to do minor demo without permits and do minor interior things. So we can do that while we're waiting for the permit to come for those larger items, such as removing a load-bearing wall, that type of stuff. So great question. Hey, Cory, it's starting to get to be a bit into the conversation. Let's jump out to Makaha real quick and see, let's go. Just kind of finish up out there if Layla and Fuzzy are on site. A couple of great questions that came up. Layla, are you out? Oh, nice. So here's the, Layla, give us a quick kind of overview of where we're at in the project now, and then maybe a little bit about the challenges that we're still having to overcome.
Can you hear me?
Can hear you.
Okay.
Sound good.
So right now we just finished drywall. I can show you the inside of this one. But we just finished drywall, getting ready for paint off. Rough plumbing and electric is in. And then we're also simultaneously working on the exterior. So we had to build up the grade on some of these homes. Look, Fuzzy's working hard. We had to build up the grade on some of these homes because the previous builder had a lot of exposed foundation. So we shipped in about 80 tons of earth that we got from another developer in Ahui Manu that he was so generous to give us. So that's a great connection to have. It didn't cost us anything but the trucking to bring it out here. So we have the guys here clearing the lot so that exterior landscaping can start, as well as eventually bringing in asphalt for the driveways.
Layla, how large is the lot overall? How large is each home? And then will each home be sold individually?
Those are hard questions. I think it's 25. I thought it was 25,000 square feet or 26, something like that. Each home has 5,000 square feet, a lot. And then double parking for each unit. What was the last question? Are they going to be sold individually? Yes, this is CPR. So there's 4 units on this lot. The CPR was taken care of by the other developer, fortunately, so that was already done. Did I answer all the questions? You kind of threw a lot at me.
That's great. So 5,000 square feet per home. And then, of course, we have roadways. And then that looks good. And then ARV right now, we're looking at 4 something.
I think, Cory, would you say 450?
Well, no, originally we're looking at 499 per house, but you know, our goal is to get out of the project quickly, since I'm not sure where the market's going to be in a few months here in Hawaii. So we're going to be pre-selling with Ashley and her team, and we were talking around 475 a house. That hasn't been happening yet. You and I got to, talk about this because, I mean, we're going to lose 100 grand, right? So.
Yeah, it's only 100 grand. It's all good.
So another thing about this property is that it's at the end of this very long road, and there are 3 homes that are currently using this 3 homes using this driveway, and the water meters are all the way out there. So pretty soon we're gonna have to dig that trench.
Nice.
Yep.
Hey, Layla,
so
was
that was one thing too, is when we got the property, we bought this property. Whenever you buy something mid-construction from another investor, you know the skeletons that are going to come out when you start to, really dive deep in. So unfortunately, there was some issues that we found, like the plumbing, the grading on the plumbing wasn't done right. Right.
I think Fuzzy can go over all of our skeletons if you want. He found them all.
Luckily we budget contingencies in for that, right? And we're very conservative usually. So, but this is a house that before we bought it, and me, Layla, the team, we're standing in the house. We're thinking like, the numbers are great. It's not a product that I would be proud of, because it wasn't our design. We're taking it over from somebody else, and we have another development project on the way, which is going to be 6 houses. It's going to be 6 houses, and that was our design, right? So it's going to be a lot. Like those houses will be very proud. Like they're great, they're great starter homes for somebody, but it's not something that we're gonna, pump our chest out for, right? So, anyways, Fuzzy, if you can, talk about some issues that came about.
Yo, can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. Yes, sir. Bless her. Hey, thank you for having me, guys. But yeah, we had some issues with the plumbing. When we first was looking at this property with Cory, all the slabs was open where the plumbing pipes were. I guess the investor before us, they came in, and it's like Cory said, it's who you know in Hawaii as far as the DPP or Department of Planning. So if I'm gonna show you guys on this issue right here, you can see daylight, right? You guys can see the daylight?
Yep.
Okay. So this whole slab right here on every house was open on the 2 bathrooms. Now this is a first house right here. And we thought we would have to put a mulch pump because this house sits lower than the other 3. And we had to raise the pipe out here. So it reached that slope. because doodle don't go uphill, right? So we have to get that slope. So what we're gonna do after, we're gonna pour a slab over this, and then cover it with the gravel. But I'm gonna show you how long. I think it was about, like, if I'm not mistaken, about 300 feet from this first house all the way to the back. So they had to dig a trench from this first house right here. Do you see the pipes over here? So it started here, or it starts here, and it goes all the way back there, and back there is like 5 feet deep. So that was the issue that we're facing. Thinking we have to buy a pump to push the doodle uphill. So yeah, that was one of the challenges. Not only that, we still have our challenge to we gotta dig the trench out to the street. And that's another like 300 something feet to tie into the water.
Yeah.
Sweet. So we're looking at two different choices. We're looking at a PVC pipe, which would be cheaper, but chances of it leaking, or going with the copper piping, which is 300 something feet times 4 is a lot of money.
Yeah, it's too much money. Just give them one outhouse spa.
Dig the hole in the ground, yeah.
Well, thanks for being out there and being on site. We'll just see if anyone's got any questions. Otherwise, we'll kind of transition from this. This took a little bit longer than we thought, but it's always fun to share and good conversation. But anybody got any questions for on site for Fuzzy or for Cory or for us on anything having to do with the building and construction?
And honestly, Layla is the brains on the, Layla and Fuzzy are making this happen. And so a lot of that, Layla, if you can jump in if there's questions, that pertains to, the operations side. And this is just a huge example of, like, we cannot do this by ourselves, guys. This is a business that we have to work together. And that's why there's no room for scarcity. And we're all investors here, and some of us are in the same markets, and maybe we might be competing on deals and putting in offers, but we should never see it that way. We should cheer each other on, because there's more than enough to go around. And who knows, maybe you might need a partner one day. We'll need partners. Like, we have a lot of investors, some of them are on the call, and we have a lot of crew, and without guys like Fuzzy out there kicking butt every day, and our team of realtors, scouting the market and helping us sell, we couldn't do this, right? So that's what this whole thing, I think, is about, is just bringing everybody together. So any questions on the what we went over? Otherwise, we can move on, but please feel free to speak up. All right.
We got so many experts. Somebody's got to have a question.
Comments to criticism. We're big boys and girls. We can take it. No feelings will hurt.
If nobody's speaking, I'll speak up. I just love your heart. Thanks for sharing that. That looks like a cool project, and what you just said, I just feel like that's we need more of that in this industry. We're all in it together. There's plenty for everybody. So that's great. Thank you guys for doing this.
Absolutely.
Thanks, Jared.
Thank you, Jared.
You're doing just as much, man, what you're doing, and we're excited to be in friendship and relationship with you. A couple of questions did come in just through the email. So we got chats, we got emails, we got all kinds of things going on. Somebody said, do you always complete all the renovations, making the house look entirely good, or do you just do main things? And so it's a good question. Typically, what we always try to do is do as much as we can in the budget that we have to maximize the ARV. So I'll say it one more time, doing as much as we can with the budget that we have to maximize the ARV. Obviously, every single one of us, we don't flip houses just because we love flipping houses and then we love losing money. you know, we've got to make some money so we can be sustainable. Cory and I typically have a philosophy that we try to do about 90% of the work and we leave about 10% undone. So it allows a buyer who comes in to then say, hey, you know what, I can finish the backyard, or hey, I can finish that other room, because then they get to customize it to their own liking. And every buyer loves to feel like they get a great deal. No matter who they are, they always want to feel like they get a great deal. And they want to feel like they got more than what they initially thought they'd get. So when they come onto one of our properties, they may say, hey, this looks a little bit empty, but hey, why don't we negotiate in to have them finish the backyard? You know, we may have, we figured that in already. So then we're able to say like, yeah, we'll totally throw in a backyard, no problem. They love it. We get full price, we get over asking, and that's ideal. So that's something that Cory and I try to do when we can, is not to be 100% perfect. Well, Cory's perfect, of course, according to Matt, but you know, other than that, what happens when you go under budget? Do you bring in more money? Do you have to come out of pocket? This is a great question. Cory and I have, to be totally transparent with all of you, we've had a couple projects where it went long and the budget that we had initially set aside ran out. And that's when Cory and I get together and we start crying, and then we hug, and then we try to figure out what we're going to do after that. Cory, you want to talk a little bit about this, kind of one of the last deal that we did here where we kind of did start running out of funds because of just the long permitting process. And then it just, you know, what did we do? Did we come out of pocket? Do we raise more funds? That's the question.
Yeah. Honestly, it happens more often than than we'd like to, you know, admit. But that's why we have to be very conservative with our numbers. Like, no project has ever gone according to plan. You know, we've gone longer, we've went over budget, we've ripped open walls and realized we had to, you know, we basically bought like something that was is just being held up by paper because of termites out here in Hawaii. So but for us, we have to decide like how much, like, do we raise that money in debt and bring on more private funds, or do we try to cut back on the project? And, you know, if there's ways to save, or maybe we don't do some things that were initially in the scope of work to save on that cost. It really depends on what stage you are in the project and how much equity you still have, right? If you have room to bring in the funds that you need and you can stack a little bit more debt on it and you'll be safe, then, you know, then do that, right? You're offering another private lending position to one of your investors who wants their money working for them. But if you don't have room, and, you know, then you're gonna have to probably cut costs on the project or come out of pocket yourselves. Kekoa and I have done all of the above before, and that's the type of decisions that you have to make per project. So it really depends on the scenario. And for us, like, the main thing is that when we buy a house, we fix everything that's structurally necessary. Like that would be my worst nightmare if we sell a house and it hurts somebody, you know? So first we have to fix everything to make the house safe and livable, because sometimes you buy it and it's not safe and livable. You know, maybe there's mold, maybe there's asbestos inside, and we have to remedy it, you know, all of that professionally and do it right. And sometimes we've caught things at the very end and you have a moral decision to make, like, okay, well, do we still just sell it, or do you fix it and you spend the money? You know, I'd rather spend the money and fix it, you know, because I want to sleep at night. And I hope everybody else has the same idea. You know, it's people over profits, something I learned from one of my first mentors, you know, and a group who's now out here in Hawaii as well, is you always put people over profits, right? And that makes sure that you're going to be playing this game, you're playing the long game, and you're going to be here, because you don't ever want to have, you know, that reputation that you cut corners or you try to hide stuff, right? So we fix everything that's structurally sound, and then it's aesthetics, right? If you run out of money and you have no other options but not to add the backsplash tile, the fancy backsplash tile, or the, you know, the chandelier or something, then it is what it is. The buyer can go pick their own, you know, but as long as it's safe, you know, then that's what you go for first. And then you try to, you know, fix everything up. I feel that HGTV was a blessing and a curse, because before HGTV, it wasn't about design, right? It was about, let's provide housing. And with HGTV, it was great because it opened up the space. It put a spotlight on us as investors, mainly in the fix and flip space, but so it opened up the space. It brought Wall Street into the lending side, which made our cost of money go down. But at the same time, it has increased the expectations of the retail buyer, right? So the retail buyer now wants to come into a house that looks like it's on HGTV, right? Now we have to design the house. And so that's made our job a little harder, right? Because now we have to actually think about the design. Whereas before, we would leave a lot of the design choices to the end buyer to make, right? And we just provide the product. But times have changed, and you know, we have to pivot with the times. So kind of went on a rant, but
okay, now you're not so perfect anymore, but we like you. We love you, bro. We love you. Right on. Hey, that's great. Let's transition. Those were great questions, good input. We'll get you those that wanted it. I think we're gonna send to everybody the spreadsheet, so that would be super cool. If you need help on that, we could even set up kind of a special time to jump on Zoom and walk you through some deals. But let's just transition. And Lauren asked a great question. Lauren, I see you. You're in your car. Where are you driving to, bro?
Oh, I'm here at Long's in Manoa. I'm about to go buy a comb because I haven't had a haircut in 2 months. I usually go 2 weeks without a haircut. So just hanging out, and thought I'd jump on real quick.
No, we're glad that you're on. Can you grab one comb for Cory, because brother's hair is making him 6 feet tall.
Bro.
So got it.
Yeah, I can if needed. Yeah.
So Lauren asked a great question. That's a great transition. A lot of us are kind of pondering what's happening with the markets and hard money. Alex, I'm gonna have you just share a little bit about that from what we're seeing right now. The market has definitely been changing. And so for those of you who are looking for hard money or even conventional financing or commercial lending, it is a different scenario today than it was even just a week ago. So Alex, do you want to take that for a second? Is Alex or Scott?
Hand it to Scott.
Scott.
Yeah. All right. Pretty much it's starting to stabilize a little bit. We're finding a couple of our capital partners are widening their boxes for us. Leverages are going up a little bit slightly. Rates are stabilizing at this point.
Scott, can you explain what leverages are going up means for those that maybe newer?
Pretty much, if you're looking, let's say you purchase a home for $400,000, you want to get 75% leverage on it. That's the loan to value of it, of the cost of the purchase. It would be 75, would be 300,000. Right now, you can probably get close to 80, depending on experience. If you have experience in a higher FICO score where it was 70, 75 2 weeks ago, it's now back up to 80. The 80 used to be 90. It went down to 70, 75. Now you can get back up to 80. And if you have, I'd say 10 flips, rentals, or rehabs in the last 3 years, that's what they're looking for. Anything 5 to 10, you're looking at about 75 and possibly 80%, and 100% on the rehab costs.
So we're kind of getting back to a little bit like pre-COVID, is 80%, 100% on the rehab. So that's good news. Strong FICO scores, 20. Yeah, so that's fantastic.
That's 20% down. Everything's down about 10%. So if it was 90, it's now 80, 80, 70, 75 in that range.
Gotcha. And what are we seeing on origination across the board? Are we still seeing 3 to 5% and 10 to?
No, you can get. You're looking probably 2 to 3. 3 on 3. 3's an average.
Okay.
For an average borrower, 3.
Okay. Gotcha. Okay. And then what about interest? Are we still looking at 10 plus?
Yeah, in that range, 10 to 12.
Gotcha. No, that's good. I'm going to call on Steve Goodman too. Steve's a lender in the Northwest as well. And Steve, just for some of us who are on this line, I think some of us have, we're kind of considering all kinds of different options when it comes to finances. And right now they're talking a lot about even doing stuff like forbearances to try to give yourself some more margin. What are you seeing right now happening in terms of local trends on the finance side?
Yeah, no, that's a good question. So one, I've had investors, multiple properties, they're looking at doing forbearance on some of their properties.
Steve, can you, I know I said the term, yeah, I said the term first, but can you define what forbearance means?
Sure. So forbearance right now is basically putting a deal together with the people that are servicing your loan. So each investor or servicer that's out there, you have someone there like, hey, we're going to send you money, and they're going to pay their investors, their secondary market. Right now in Washington, I know that's a big issue that we're doing. Well, actually, it's a worldwide issue that people, through rent, things like that. But forbearance is basically you're putting a deal together. It's like, hey, I'm doing a 3-month deal. I will not pay my monthly rent. These are your renters. And then I will pay you my final amount at the end of 3 months. Now, here's the kicker that we're running into, and this is something we ran into, and we're seeing the exact same thing back to 2010, 2009, 2010. You're having some of these big banks, some of these big servicers, they're not looking at you paying them back. They're looking at you doing an instant refinance with negative terms, or they're looking at you going bankruptcy, foreclosing on your property. So this is something that's big. It's like a twofold. It's like as investors, you can look at taking advantage of people that in the next, basically in about 3 or 4 months, we're looking at a good chunk of the market where there's people that are going to be refinancing, and they may not be able to refinance, so they'll have to either sell quickly, which is something, that could be taken advantage to help them out. It's like, hey, I don't want you to be, put in the wrong term. You can look at helping them sell their property, or you can look at basically buying, refinancing, selling their mortgages in the future. That's something that's happening right now. And yeah, in the next few months, that's exactly what we're going to be seeing, is exactly how it was in 2009, 2010. Unfortunately, but something we can take advantage of and help people out at the same time. So
that's great. Awesome. Anybody got any questions kind of about the financial side right now? And then we'll start to wrap it down a little bit.
Kekoa, one last thing. A couple of capital ponds, I just got off the phone with one just now. They're opening up the refi box to 30 years now. They're going back to it. They're opening it up now. So the rates aren't going to be the 5s and 6s. They're going to be in the 7 and 8s. And they're coming out with a new program. It's called the 2-1 program. So they're giving you 2 years to refi out of it. You can refi into a 2-year and a 1-year with no prepayment, opposed to a 30-year with a 5-year prepayment. In today's times, you don't want to be in that position. So they're coming out with some alternatives. They'll be out next week. So we're partnering up with them. So we'll do some joint ventures with them, and we'll let you guys know.
That's awesome. Cool. Another thought, and then we'll kind of wrap it up with gets and gots if anybody's got anything or needs to get something. But we've had some comments just about the SBA loans. Some folks have applied for that SBA loan, the EIDL loan, the Economic Injury Disaster Loans. And so as you know, if you didn't apply early enough, then you probably didn't get funding. I have a couple friends here in Seattle that actually got a lot more money than they thought they would get. Another construction company literally got in the 6 figures. And so out of the kindness of their heart, they're sending it back because they don't need that much money. So it's just cool what people are doing. But some of us on this call are probably in a situation where we could use that financing. And so if you're self-employed, you're a self-proprietor, you have your own company, and you were doing well before COVID and you weren't able to apply for the SBA loans prior to them running out of funds, there's a new program coming out called Main Street Lending Program. Look it up, Main Street Lending Program. I've done some research myself. And it's for businesses that were doing well prior to COVID-19. SBA ran out of money for the EIDL. So this is kind of their next phase of some loans that are going to be available. I'd encourage every single one of us to keep our ears open and then just kind of help everybody else out if you get wind of it. I'd say just apply, because right now in the season that lies ahead, nobody really knows financially how things are going to go. So if you have a need for finances, you might want to just go ahead and apply for it. And then if you get the money, you can always just decline it if you don't really need it. But there's lots of uncertainty as to what's going to happen in the future. So Main Street Lending Program, it's actually sponsored by the Federal Reserve, which basically means our country just keeps printing money. So that's a whole conversation by itself. But that's a great resource to keep in mind as well. So so just kind of wrapping up, anybody got on the line that has anybody on the line that's got something, or you need to get something?
What's up, brothers?
Yone.
What's up,
How's it going, man? Straight fire today, man. You guys are crushing it today. Just couple things I wanted to add. I was tuning in from the beginning, but I was out in the field. Just wanted to add some 2 cents regarding the acquisitions. That concept for those who are actually thinking about adding an acquisition fee, a finder's fee to the front end when you're looking at that spreadsheet. It's another reason why we preach to have thick margins. Just because if you have a thin deal and you still want to pay yourself in the front, then obviously it's affecting your back end, but there's also unforeseens that happen. So if you end up taking a profit in the front, that actually should have, just know your numbers. So that's why they have thick margins. So we always preach that, because it'll help out in the event of the unforeseens, which Cory was talking about. So that way you don't have to worry about, like, in the event that you took that 10 grand or 20 grand or whatever that amount is, and then all of a sudden you open up the walls and you peel back that onion and you're like, oh snap, I didn't account for that. All my buffer is gone, my cushion is gone, and you ate that in the front as well. So just make sure that if you plan on taking that acquisition fee up front, you have enough room on the back end to cover anything that happens. And then the other thing I also wanted to add was regarding that, when you guys take on projects, it might help out that if you guys are new and you don't know like what you're looking for, and you might want to hire a home inspector in the beginning. I think a lot of us right now, like we just talked, bring in the general contractors, whatnot, and we can kind of foresee already. But if you're just starting out, it might make sense to bring in a home inspector in the beginning to know, and then you have an actual full page report. Give that to the general contractor, and then because you hired them in the beginning, on the back end, you can work out a deal where they can give you a discount, because before you go to market, it's now the buyers, right? They're going to be bringing in their home inspectors. But if you bring in somebody on the back end, there's no surprises for the most part. They're always going to find something no matter what. You can never be 100%, but now you've already done your due diligence. You did it in the beginning, you gave it to your GC, then now they got to fix all of that. Then on the back end, you hire it again before you release to market. Now you're not caught off guard. It'll just be probably minor things, and the structural things that Cory's talking about, you don't want that to bite you in the end. So having an inspector and then also working out a deal with them to bring down that fee for rehire again at the end. I think a lot of the guys that I know, and if you guys need home inspectors, I mean, I can bring that to your attention. But anyways, just some 2 cents.
Thanks, Kelly.
Awesome.
Yeah, Kekoa, I think Jared had one thing he wanted to say.
Jared.
Yeah. So kind of a extension of financing Anna got. So I've been chasing, financing for our buy and holds across the country right now, and working with other investors in the same thing. And we've had, we were using non-QM money, before this, that just shut off as far as 30-year, stuff. So we found that coastal community bank and local community banks are like where everybody's was pushing us. So we kind of had to sit down with them, and they designed a package, for us, which is amazing. So we got that kind of around the country. Talk to your community bank. So that's where I ended up talking to the community bank, and now we have a partner. I'm no longer like shopping. We have a partner in our business. So that was huge for us.
Awesome.
That's great. Did you say you have a get or a got or something like that too?
Well, that was kind of what I was talking about. Like if you're looking for for buy and hold financing for past your 10 mortgages or whatever it is, whatever your situation is, talk to your local bank.
Perfect. That's great. And then, Jared, is that a radical strip pole you have behind you, or what is that?
That is TRX system.
It's the TRX.
I'm like, what's going on behind you there, bro?
That's awesome. I'm gonna tell my wife you said that. I'm gonna put one in too.
Well, I thought that was just what you were practicing on in case real estate investing didn't go so well, and you have a little part-time gig. So yeah, that's great.
I'm in.
Right on. That was awesome. Cool. Anybody else? Got
I got
anything you wanted to
something.
share?
We're gonna be marketing and teaming up with James over there on the beach, and Jessica. Is Jessica on the call? Jessica Brown. There she is. We're gonna be targeting some of the short-term vacation rental buildings here very shortly. So we may be wholesaling or taking them down ourselves. Obviously, we have to be very careful with these because we're in tough times in that space, right? But there are a lot of people who are kind of suffering right now. A lot of homeowners who feel stuck, and they need to get out. So we can provide options of basically either buying it from them or structuring like possible lease option deals. So this is, I guess, a future GOT. We may be having some, investment opportunities probably within the next week or two. So look out in the Facebook group. We might have some stuff to jump in on if you guys want to. And I don't know if you guys saw that article from the Wall Street Journal, but they're talking about how Airbnb and some of the hosts are just taking massive hits, so that is a space that is definitely getting hurt, right? So we're, as investors, we provide solutions to people who feel they don't have any, right? So that's what we're targeting this week, and wish us luck and stay on the lookout. Hopefully I'll have some guts in like a week or two.
That's awesome. Hey, Cory, just you reminded me, you and I were on the national board meeting yesterday with the private money lenders, and we heard something that was pretty interesting, that when it comes to the indicators relative to the real estate industry, it looks like when it comes to short sales and potential foreclosures, the multifamily space is where we're starting to see some declines, meaning that there's going to be probably a lot more sellers for multifamily units because those owners are struggling in this season. So it was interesting, a note to start kind of keeping your eyes open, because that market is probably going to get hotter as more of those multifamily units start coming into the space. And as you know, interest rates are still low. So if you can get a 4-unit or less, you're able to use residential financing and those interest rates. But it's a great time for those units because there's going to be a lot of tenants continuing in the market. When people aren't able to afford to buy or people start short selling out of their houses, multifamilies are going to be a pretty solid investment.
Yeah, and I would say if you're part of a syndication or you're in on some of that, you got money in there, try to ask the hard questions to whoever's general partner or lead sponsor, like how are they preparing for this, and hopefully they're thinking a few steps ahead so that they're proactive rather than reactive to all of this. We all have to do that. I think everybody on this call may be affected in some sense, right, to what's going on. So just be aware and don't be afraid to reach out for help. And I just got to ask a favor that before you guys leave the call, can you please in the chat put whether you are bullish or bearish in the market, the housing market specifically. So bullish obviously meaning you think the market's gonna appreciate, or are you bearish where you think the market is gonna go down, right? So I'd love to see that, because nobody really knows, but collectively, we can maybe take a poll and then we can discuss it on the next call.
Yeah, we look like we're about 50-50, so it's pretty interesting. So yeah, keep chiming in there. And then that's probably going to be the focus of our next week's call, is really the economy, the real estate market, and really just this sense of, do we plan for bullish or bearish? But Anybody else got any gots or any final comments from your own experiences? Appreciated what Jared shared and Keone shared. But anybody else from around the country that'd like to share anything?
Thank you guys for always jumping on every week. You know, I think we get a lot out of it ourselves, and I'm sure we'll be doing some deals together real soon.
Yeah. Also, some super interesting comments in the chat. This is awesome.
I know this is going to be really interesting.
This is super interesting.
And thank you, Fuzzy.
Yeah.
Thank you, Fuzzy. Thank you, Layla, for sharing. And I guess
that's fantastic. It's pretty cool. Hey, so yeah, let's wind it down. Just keep on entering into the chat. But here's the homework assignment for this week. We're going to be jumping onto the Facebook conversations for throughout the week. So if you've got as you get that spreadsheet and you've got questions about it this week, feel free to chime in on our Facebook page. Corey and I will check that, and our staff will be checking that this week just to answer some questions. Please try to use it. Feel free to, and we'll be happy to help you out. It's always a great win when we all win together. And then also do some reading this week on whether you really do feel like the market's going to be bullish and bearish. And then next week, we're going to really open it up. I think last 2 weeks, Corey and I have talked way too much, and I hear Corey's voice all week long. So it would be great to hear some of your other voices next week. So if you could, yeah, get your haircut, brah. Not kissing you now. But if we can, oh, look, Matthew's in love with you. He thinks your voice is perfect. Dude, you're going to have to pay him money for saying all that nice stuff.
Yeah. Matthew, he's my guy.
But yeah, do some research this week on your own and just kind of see what you're reading and then share it next week, because I mean, nobody really knows, but there are enough economists out there that are suggesting certain things. So next week, share if you could, and you don't have to, so feel free to still listen in, but we'd love it if some of you would come prepared to share why you're bullish or bearish, what resources you've kind of been reading that has made you form that perspective. And then the third is, what are you doing in preparation for that market that you feel that it's going to be like, either bullish or bearish? So again, which one do you choose? What have you based that opinion on? And then what are you doing? Strategies, market analysis. What are you doing to prepare as an investor? We'd love to learn from some of that so we can learn together. And the time frame, the bullish or bearish question, that's a great question. Let's go with the next 6 months. I don't think any of us can really, I think most of us are trying to make decisions now for what to do in real estate for the next 6 months or so. So let's say about 6 months, maybe at most 12 months. What do you think the market's going to do? Why do you think that? And then what are you doing in response to what you believe would be awesome. So very cool. With that, I think, Corey, unless you've got anything else to share, we can wrap it up. You can wrap it up, and then we can just hang out. We can let everybody go who's got to get running.
That's it for me. Thanks everybody for jumping on.
Yeah, thank you everyone.
It's middle of the day here, so gotta get to work.
It's morning out there. It's the middle of the day out here. It's Friday. Happy Mother's Day to all the moms on the call. Thanks for being with us.
Mother's Day.
It's happy hour here.
Your weekend, happy hour in Florida. But thanks everybody. Aloha for those of you who have to go. And we will catch you next week. And for those of you who want to stick on, feel free to hang out. Is Matthew still on? Because I think Matthew I think he's got a little bromance going with you. Isaac, what's up with your boss, bro?
Big kiss, bro.
I'm just doubling down. Corey's my boy. I picked the horse early. Got to stick with him.
Kekoa, don't be jealous. I know that's why you're calling it out. You're jealous.
A little bit jealous, for sure.
I've heard those conversations, and I wish I didn't.
I know. Layla's heard.
I'm gonna ask Corey to be my uncle.
Yeah, he's
Thanks, Mom. Uncle Corey's perfect.
Uncle Cory.
Well, and then
is it the creepy uncle? The uncle that gives the hugs that are a little bit too long? That's so bad to say, but it's true.
Matthew, you might not know, but Corey's also a pretty solid jiu-jitsu guy. So,
oh yeah.
No.
Oh, look at that! Nice boy.
Say hi, Uncle.
Hi, Uncle.
Hi there, buddy.
Hey.
Great. You look like your dad.
Yeah.
Without the dark hair and without the tan.
Right.
So pretty much nothing like your dad.
Yeah, no. He's built like me though. He's in the 98th percentile for weight right now.
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh, we should take a pool. How many guys are gonna have hats on next week?
Hat next week. Yeah, well.
I asked Kekoa if I should put my hat on or just leave it, and he said put the hat on.
It's yeah, we needed a hat this week for Cory, that's for sure. Hey Justin, can you throw the Facebook URL on the chat?
Yeah, I was actually gonna send it out in all the emails, but I can do that too for whoever's left on.
Sounds great.
One sec.
Hey, Lauren's leaving.
Thanks,
Lauren's
Lauren.
leaving Longs.
Bye, guys. Thank you.
Hey,
yeah,
take
I'll
care,
go-
Lauren.
There you are.
Try not to get yelled at by the homeless people. Yeah.
The homeless guy told me to donate my card to him. So
Wow.
we'll see. We'll tune in next week.
Tune in next week.
Right on, bro. Take care.
You know what? I think we should put in the Facebook. We should start that conversation in the Facebook group. Say, hey, bullish or bearish, explain why. Can you post that, bro?
Yeah. Sam's got a good off-market deal on a used Floby, bro. I think you need to get it.
On a what?
A used Floby off-market. Sam Partial's got a good deal. You know what one Floby is?
No, bro.
It's for cutting hair. It's bzzz.
Oh, you need a buzzer?
Layla, get Cory a Floby. He need.
I can hook you up, Cory. I got you.
I mean, I haven't seen a Floby on the market since like 1994, maybe.
Yeah, that's why Sam says, you know, it's lightly used, it's off market, you know, it's a special.
Tony was trying to hook me up.
My dad might have that.
Guy.
That's
great. Yeah, you need a haircut, buds.
Who's that?
Fuzzy.
Oh.
Hey, Fuzzy, are you going to the Kapolei Home Depot?
I think so.
Are you going there now?
Yes.
Okay, I see you there. Sorry.
You guys go to Kapolei Home Depot, pick up a bowl of poke for me nearby. Place is good.
Tamura's.
Good.
Yes. Actually, we should all go. We should all go out to visit Greg on Maui. Greg, when are we going to do one retreat on Maui?
I want to know if Layla is driving the Hellcat.
No.
Yeah, otherwise we'll never get to wherever we gotta be. You gotta light it up.
No Hellcat for Layla. That's danger.
Hey, we're listing that 167 Fonana Street. It's going on MLS today.
Oh, nice.
Oh, congratulations, man. You guys flipping up too fast.
That was fast. Yeah, we just closed that.
I know.
Yeah. That's how we do them. We're in and out real quick.
Greg, maybe
How's
you
Ryan
should,
and Brandon guys doing?
What's that?
How's Ryan and Brandon guys doing? They're all up at home.
Man, I haven't really talked to them very much, but I think I'm pretty sure, like I think I mentioned last week, I think they just put another park under contract. So they're still
shot at funding one of their parks, man.
Yeah, they're bullish on parks.
House portfolio, 4.65%, 2 points, and what was the leverage? 70% LTV.
I don't know anything about the park stuff. I don't know what their funding is like, but I'm sure Brandon would love to bring you in on that if he can make it work.
Nah, if he's got a good deal already, then I'd rather not get in the way. You know what I mean? Better.
I don't know what he's got. I don't know. I mean, I'm sure he's got to have some kind of deal going.
The other time, like we beat their other offer, you know, but we just couldn't close as fast as the other bank. So.
Oh, so you were competitive then?
Oh, we were. Yeah, we beat the other offer. But
why don't you reach out to him? Or you want me to mention it?
Next time, but they called us with 2 weeks to go, and like we couldn't. It was you know what I mean. Like We need long
Brandon
notice.
likes to give us no notice. He likes to be like, hey, I need $2 million and I need it tomorrow. Oh, sure.
Yeah.
We're like the Federal Reserve. We'll just print it. We'll send it on over.
Yep. I know. I can relate.
That's how it is.
He does it to me too.
Hey, TRA. How's it? Are you on Oahu?
Yep, right in Kailua town. How's everybody doing today?
What's up, cousin?
Hi, cuz. How are you? Thanks for sending me the link, Kolaya. Appreciate it.
Good to see you.
Yeah, this was super awesome. I'm super stoked that I made it. Kekoa, I sent you a question. I'll just ask here since it's a little bit more intimate, if that's all right.
Yeah.
But we've got massive equity in our home in Kailua, and there's just so much red tape regarding HELOC. I honestly can't income qualify to unlock all of the equity that's in this home. So we're kind of praying about either selling it. It's an 11-bedroom house in Kailua that we've kind of added to over the years. I was a previous care home operator, so it's kind of all outfitted with universal designs downstairs.
Okay.
Could go care home or could just be like for rental. And we've been house hacking it since we've been homeowners since 2006. So we only live in our upstairs and we house hack our downstairs. What is your thoughts in regards to HELOCs right now? And I'd honestly love to hold on to this property, but I just can't unlock the potential of it. You know what I mean?
And you want to pull out your equity for more investing? Is that kind of the plan?
I'd love to, definitely maybe talk offline about maybe some options that you guys might know of in regards to leveraging, your own primary residence or your own, equity and what you've kind of done. But I just I've shopped HELOCs with national and local. We have super good relationship with our local banker, but there's just the amount of equity that's in the home, I just can't income qualify for all of that. You know what I mean?
TRA, have you talked to Bank of Hawaii?
Yeah, so HELOCs, in my experience with BOH, are nightmarish. Who do you work with over there? Because
Yeah, okay. So I have one with Bank of Hawaii, and for a while, when I was in the application process, it was I didn't exist. I couldn't get answers on anything because, I guess they're just overworked or whatever it is. And then I remembered that I have a relationship with a local district manager for Maui,
cool.
So I reached out to him. Actually, I think he reached out to me because he saw my file or something, and he called me. He was like, "Oh, Greg, I'm so sorry you're having a hard time, blah blah blah." And I kind of let him know, I haven't been getting responses to emails, not getting answers, don't know what's going on. And from that minute forward, every time I had a question, the service was unbelievable. So my biggest issue was the service, but I got that addressed. And what I liked about Bank of Hawaii was that they do, now in your case, it probably won't really be as valuable, but they did 85% LTV on investor occupancy, which was a big deal for me. And they did, what I really like is, and I think there's probably some other options similar to this, but I really, really like the whole package that they offer, because they do the fixed rate over 25, I think they do 30 years too. So you could basically get a mortgage, but it's revolving, and you can fix it, or you can just fix a certain chunk of it. So you could refi your whole house into the HELOC and then just have a fixed rate on whatever your past, your balance, your principal is. So your payment would probably go down, and then you would have access to the rest of the capital, the equity too. Just kind of depends on your situation, what's best. I don't think there's any one product or answer.
Yeah, it's so crazy. Just full transparency here, because we're probably down to under 20 people, and I was I'm not gonna talk about this with hundreds of people in here. How much people did we have on the call, by the way? That was awesome. Good job, guys. So we even applied for forbearance with our primary mortgage company, because we actually were told by them that it would open up us to more options in regards to an internal loan modification, which I did do before on this property. years ago. Like I got a better rate through an internal loan modification than I could have doing a traditional refinance. And I didn't need to pay for points. I didn't need to do a credit pull and all that stuff. So I guess for me, it's like, I'm super interested in like OPM and all of that, super interested in it. And that guy, Scott Rosenhaus, like that was really helpful for me being new to this group, like him kind of sharing about like origination and the interest and all of that. But I guess for me right now, it's just, you know, can I still hold on to this amazing property, or like, do I need to cut it loose to be able to open up more opportunity for my family? We've got a lot of kids, you know, so we're just praying about it.
Tiari, just maybe like a suggestion would be that you can get like a co-signer to kind of sign along with you. So I mean, like maybe somebody on the call be willing to lend you their credit or their income, and like, you know, like that's someone you have a good relationship with, and then you can, I mean, like you can cut whatever kind of deal you want, but maybe say like, hey, like here's a couple of grants you just co-sign, and but it's like a trust issue too, right? And I don't know what the legal laws as far as like how that goes, but basically if your income doesn't qualify but you want to borrow somebody else's income or credit score, then that's something else you can do, I think, for your HELOC. So
yeah, I actually have somebody like in weekly discussions with us to be able to maybe perhaps do that. But yeah, I'm super excited and stoked to be a part of this group, because I think that learning from the experience of others is the best way to learn. So, you know, I'm really honored to be here because you guys have done a lot of creative stuff and been watching like Kekoa and Cory and them do this for years now. So it's just to kind of have this energy in this place is super helpful. But I'll kind of keep that on like a offline conversation and kind of maybe come over and see what OPM options there might be that we might already qualify for. Just every week been finding, I think there's gonna be a lot of opportunity right now for picking up properties that we just couldn't make moves on, but now can. So I want to be prepared. I want to prepare my ohana for like the next year to be able to make the moves that we need to make so we can leave something to each of our kids and our grandkids. So that's really my passion, is building a legacy for our children. So thank you guys. I appreciate it today.
Well, we're glad that you're on the call, and we love your
Sorry,
energy.
guys, I'm losing service.
No worries. No worries. Sorry, we have a good broker too, mortgage broker, and that's what she does all the refis and HELOCs and loans for my family.
Nice.
And she's an investor as well, so she understands and she knows what you need to, you know, say and what you should not say to the banks when you're getting HELOCs, right?
Yeah, because underwriting actually happens when you start the conversation. Like soon as you say it, it's like, yeah. So I know how to keep my mouth shut and just like ask questions and like, oh, okay. So that's why we just like haven't pulled like the trigger on any one scenario yet, because I think it's more right now about listening and researching, so that way we really, you know, vet the direction that we're going to go in. So there's been a lot of properties lately that are going to set new comps in Kailua. So I'm super stoked about that, because honestly, like the comps are 2 years out in Kailua for the size of rooms that we have. It just, you don't find 11-bedroom houses typically in Kailua for sale. My friend sold her care home 2 years ago. So that set a comp, but I'm just not in the same, like I'm in Coconut Grove. So there's one closing right up the road from me, Better Homes and Garden agent that I talk with on a weekly basis just to track how their escrow is going, and it's looking really solid. They fell out with the first one, but they're really solid on their second one. They should be closing here around May 20th, so I'm stoked for that. And then there's 2 other properties that, one in Kaneohe and then one right down the road from us that just came on the market on May 1st and May 5th. So just kind of watching those, but I mean, I need comps at the end of the day too. You know what I mean? If I'm going to sell it, I need comps. So just kind of like waiting for the perfect trifecta to happen, but I see it happening. So I'm like, oh Lord, I know you're in control. Like all of this is like coming together. I just got to be best prepared what direction our family needs to go in. So appreciate you guys just letting me kind of throw that out there and have some, you know, wisdom that I can glean from you guys. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. I can, if you want to send me a message or something, Tari, I can get you our mortgage broker's contact. Yeah, she doesn't, she gets paid by the bank, right? So it does no cost to you, and so she can at least stop it for you and put things in front of you to look at. And if it doesn't work out, you know, but at least, you know, she's been in the business for over 30 years. So
perfect. Yeah, Greg, to answer your question, yeah, so all the income is taxed. It's all paid up to date. First Hawaiian said they can use, I think, 70% of the rental income to qualify us. I think Bank of Hawaii was somewhere around there, maybe a little less, not too sure. And then Hawaiian Tel, I don't really quite remember how much of the rental income they took, but there's a certain percentage for the different underwriting processes that just at least through my research. But thanks for asking, bro. I appreciate it. Seems like something you've done before too, Greg, so thanks.
Keep us updated too, Tiare. Just how things go.
Yeah, keep us updated.
Yeah.
It'd be great because everybody's always looking for who are the good resources out there. Last time I heard, we had a friend who had good success with ASB, American Savings Bank. So, you know, I mean, it's just like Greg said, sometimes it's who you know, sometimes it's just getting the person that is willing to try to be a little more creative, but sounds like you've got some good opportunities. And it may not too, the one thing that you might consider, and we can chat more offline, but is to really think through what is that first project you want to do and how much money do you really need? Because maybe you don't have to sell the property.
Not that much. Like I'm looking at something that's under 300. So, and I mean, I'd like to move on it by next week, like if I could. So I was thinking of reaching out for maybe like just a consult with KÉCŌ Capital and see like what options are available to us.
Yeah, reach out to us and then we can just see if there's some ways that we can help you out. But yeah, maybe you just start smaller and it's great. Then you can keep your home for now, use the equity, ride the appreciation. I mean, you're sitting on a very unique asset. Not too many places in Hawaii have 11 bedrooms and is perfect for an adult family home or a drug rehab house. Like, you know, it's a pretty solid asset. So, and I'm sure you're getting great passive income. So your house hacking is working great.
Yeah, so house hacking's been everything for us, just both being self-employed. It's like, man, where would we be if we weren't doing this since we were kids, basically. We were young when we bought, we were scared.
Oh, that's great. Sometimes that's the best move is to strap yourself to just the max you can afford. Then you don't go out, buy new cars, don't do fancy stuff. You build an asset.
Driving the mom van, dude, watching everybody drive these Beamers and I'm like, whatever.
Down the road when everybody else get debt and they can't, then they'll get code, bro. Then that's when you're just
live like no one else does now, so you can live like no one else can later.
Sounds
Exactly.
Says the guy.
Hey guys, I get back to work.
Right on. All right, everyone. Aloha again. Appreciate it, Kekoa. I'll set up something with you, Cory.
Sounds good. Well, thanks everybody. Have a great week. We'll catch you all next week, and happy Mother's Day to all the mamas.
All right, guys. Thanks.
Take care.